Hello, and thanks for joining me. It's Dating with Katie. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the dater's dilemma. It's real, it's out there, and you've definitely experienced this. But first, I want to thank my sponsor, Sync Matchmaking. That's CINQE.com. Go check them out. And I want to remind you that I am here to help you get confident, be successful, and to have fun dating. All right, you guys, well, let's get into it. So if you follow me on Instagram, Dating with Katie, you hear me talk about this all the time. Look, I am no mathematician by any means. I was a Spanish and a sociology major. As a matter of fact, I took a math class for the first 2 weeks in college and I realized, I like people. I don't like these numbers things. And aside from that, math not being my forte, I realized though that for me to understand life, I have to do numbers and I have to have rules. And that's why, hence the podcast comes forth, because even with my client last night, he says, Katie, you have a lot of rules. And I said, well, with rules, we have understanding, hence social behavior and norms. But in this number rule, percentage rule, I have to say I crafted it myself. There's no statistical data. I've done statistics. I finished that course in college. The only thing I learned is that gambling is never in your favor. But this is what I've come to a conclusion after 10 years of matchmaking, feedback, being single, dating myself, out there dating as well. I realize that in the whole scheme of dating, 80% of people who are dating are not even ready, should be dating, or quality enough to be dating. And that's a scary number. Right? And a lot of us are in our round 2. It's even worse, I think, in the round 2. I think that 80 is a hard 80, where maybe if you're young and you're moving into your first marriage and you're looking for those first relationships, it's not quite so jaded and messed up. But here's the number percentage I've decided that 80% of people are not ready. They haven't done the work, which I talk about in my 4 Foundations episode. They haven't really come to a place where they can give to other people. They don't look like their photos, so they're already catfishing you. They're going to ghost you because they don't have the time technically to even have you in their life, but they just like, I call it the ego stroke. They like the feeling of someone being interested in them. And you all know what I'm talking about. You know that person who is on an app who takes up your time. We call that the toaster texter, the person who just takes up your time and never asks you on a date. Those people are the 80%ers, and you'll hear me talk about them a lot in my podcast. So I wanted to clarify, and this is the part of the dater dilemma, is that these 80%ers are wasting your time. They are, and this is partly why people hire matchmakers, because they don't want their time wasted. They're good at what they're good at, and they want to go make money and have somebody else do all the vetting so they don't have to go through the riffraff of the 80%. Now, then we come to the 20%. Now, the 20% have done their work. They've done the work. They've probably gone to therapy. They've really looked inside and said, well, why did this relationship in the past not work? What can I do better? What do I bring to the table? What do I want for this next season in my life? So crucial. What's the lifestyle I'm looking for? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself. And those are the core value questions. And I'll be doing a podcast on that as well. I think these 20%ers, I like to call them, these are my 3 descriptions of them. They're cool people. The 20%ers are interesting. That's why they're the one people want to date. The 80%ers want to date the 20%ers, but the 20%ers look back at the 80 and they're like, you're not interesting. I've traveled the world. My passport is stamped. I've done a lot of things in life. I've raised kids. I've maneuvered the difficult, and sometimes the 80%ers haven't. But the 20%ers are always very attractive. That's who people want to date. But you have to remember, you need to find your equal, but the lesser will always try to date you as well. So number 1, the 20%ers are just cool. They're just cool people. They're interesting. They're unique. They've done a lot of cool stuff in life. And I consider myself a cool person. I've done a lot of cool stuff in life, traveled, lived abroad, speak some languages, worked in so many varied jobs that it's just, I always think if you worked at the DMV your whole life, that just wouldn't be a very interesting place to work. And they're probably just not very interesting people. No offense, just saying. Prove me wrong here. So they're cool. And number 2 is these people, the 20%ers, they're quality. These are quality people who they'll show up when shit hits the fan. They're thoughtful, when you're struggling, and they'll send you a meal. Hey, let me get Uber Eats for you. That's the kind of partner we're looking for. They ask you about your kids. As a matter of fact, they know your kids' names by the third date. Yep, that's one of my rules. Ladies, put that down. Gentlemen, put that down. If the other person doesn't know your kid's name after a third date, I don't know. Were they really listening? Did they really care about what you care about? So remember that of the quality, are you quality? Everybody makes this list, right? Oh, Katie, I have my list of what I want. Well, that list should be you. Those are the quality, characteristics that you're looking for in someone. Well, you better have them as well. So they're cool, they're quality, and they're ready. Okay, they are ready to be in a relationship. As a matter of fact, those 20%ers are hungry. Those are the 20%ers that come to me. They come for coaching. They come for matchmaking. They are hungry to be in something that they maybe put off. A lot of people are just career driven. They're doing so well in that. They just keep that focus. A lot of women do this. And they hit a number mark and they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get to the next space in my life. And I've got to go make babies and have a family. I'm already great in so many other areas. So, they're looking for that, what I call the LTR, the long-term relationship. And for some of you, it's marriage. For some of you, it's not. And that's all right. It doesn't have to look exactly the same. And for some of you, you'll figure it out with the right person. But you're looking for depth. You're looking for someone who will stick it out with you because you're ready and willing to stick it out with somebody else because you have the character core values. So of the 80-20, which one are you? Of all the things I've described, are you cool? Are you quality? And are you ready? Because that's what people are looking for. And even if you're not that, I know that's probably what you're looking for. Unless you're honest with yourself and you say, I just want to go have fun. And hey, that's okay. But make sure that if you're going to do that, make sure it's mutually beneficial. Make sure that two people are on that same page. Because it's not fair to use up anyone's time. Let's date like adults and be mindful of that and just say, hey, I'm looking to have fun. There's men and women looking to have fun. So if you're honest, you can actually do it forthright and date correctly. All right, guys. So we know that 80% aren't, quality and ready. So I want to remind you that if you know that going into dating, going into an app, going on dates, unless you're using a matchmaker and it's vetted, but even still, it's not going to work out with everybody because it's just not made to be, because you're going to get to the date, you're going to get on the app, and you're going to see they flake on you, which I've taught my kids. I have rules for my kids. And rule number 2 in life is that people are flakes. People are just flakes. If you already know that going into the game, you're already one step ahead, and you're not going to be disappointed when somebody flakes on you. When that 80%er flakes on you and doesn't show up to the date, last minute cancels, doesn't look like their pictures, you're not upset. You're not surprised because you kind of know and assume that someone's going to end up doing that. And well, you ran into the 8 out of 10 who are going to do it to you. So play it smart, play it well. And this is where you've got to have strategies in dating. This is where I say, I want to make you successful at dating. I get a lot of bitter people. I get the DMs, I get the emails, I get people just sharing with me, Katie, and they get bitter. Katie, everyone's just a douchebag. Everyone's flaky. Not everybody. There's the 20%. So you've got to have the faith, which I talk about in the 4 foundations. You've got to have faith that they're out there and your one is out there. So along with the dater's dilemma, besides 80% not really being that quality, you've got this thing called disposable dating. Now, you know what I mean. It's just swiping away. Next, next, next. It is unlimited. This is like a buffet now for dating, which is not good because at a buffet, you try everything and you leave feeling gross. This is actually what seems like a good idea, what seems convenient, can almost be to our detriment. Let me give you a story. When I lived in China, we'd often come home and visit my family, and I had 3 kids, and jet lag was real. So I remember coming home to my parents' house, and everybody was sleeping, and I needed to buy some conditioner. So I drive over to Walmart, which won't even go there anymore to this day. Just the parking lot stresses me out. But I get to Walmart, and I go just specifically for conditioner. And of course, there's 1,000 other things you think you could buy while you're shopping and looking for conditioner. I get to the conditioner aisle and I'm overwhelmed with the choices. Now, mind you, when I live in China, they have conditioner aisles. There's stores that are Walmart-like, Walmart-esque. They have Walmart there as well. But almost all of them are in Chinese, so I really don't even know what they're saying. So I just quickly pick one and move on and hope that, I look for a brand that I know it's in Chinese. I think this is probably a good brand, and I pick and go. I save my time, and I hope for the best. But back in America, there is literally an entire aisle of conditioners and shampoos. And then do I mix and match? If I buy this conditioner, do I need this one too? And then you put 5 in the cart, you reread them, you double check. It's overwhelming. And it wasn't a fun shopping experience just to get to conditioner. And I feel like many of you feel like that when you're on these apps. It's overwhelming. There's so many choices. How do you pick by 5 photos? How do you really pick on somebody's photos? I mean, it's so one-dimensional. And that's why I always say, you know what, give somebody a chance. If there's anything that sparks interest, swipe right. It is better to swipe right more often than it is to keep swiping left. It's a numbers game, you guys. You've got to keep your pipeline full. You've got to keep the queue ready because you'd be surprised. Even yesterday, I met with a good friend and I'd never met her in person. She goes, Katie, you're so much prettier in person. And I think I'm pretty in photos. So it's that 3-dimensional persona and energy that I give that has a different dimension. So when you see a photo, look, if it's bad, swipe left. But if it's okay and they seem like a fabulous person, you could be missing out because you're just too shallow. You're just disposable dating. You're just swiping left all the time. And this is the number I say, and it works really well for women. But it's swipe on 30, and that's swipe yes on 30. You're going to end up talking to 10, and you're going to go out with 1. I mean, that is not, the odds are not really in your favor. And I hate to say it, but for guys, it's probably worse. Swipe on 50, talk to 20, go out with 1. And this is where we think it's so great, but we're not doing it right. So, the dater dilemma is real. I've given you a bunch of options that you can kind of work on. Which one do you need to work on? Do you need to swipe right a few more times? Do you need to work on your quality and core values and figure those out so you can be a 20%er? All of these things are great questions to ask yourself and to focus on when you're dating. So my recommendation to you, if you want to get coaching, reach out to me, datingwithkatie@gmail.com. Listen to these podcasts, subscribe, like, and send them to a single friend that you know needs to hear this too. Or I like to say, send them to an ex that, well, they probably need to hear all of these. You guys, thank you so much. Make sure that you go check out Sync Matchmaking. When you're looking for something that's trusted, when you're looking for someone to find you that vetted partner, the Sync Matchmakers are phenomenal at that. I know I've worked with them. I work with them. They really care about who they put you with, which is key and essential in quality dating. All right, go check out sync.com. That's CINQE.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and send this to a friend. And make sure you listen to the next podcast. Have a great day.